This podcast is part of the Heartifact Podcast Network. For more of this and our other podcasts, head to heartifactstudios.com.au.
Welcome back to Australia Main. It's the only wrestling podcast called Australia Main. I'm your host, Ricki, and as always joined by Michael Thompson. He's back.
Good evening.
And David Young.
What up, what up?
How we doing, boys?
Doing very well. It's very cold in Melbourne at the moment. Winter's finally hit.
Has come.
Winter is
I
here.
don't like it at all. This
This
beanie's keeping me nice and warm too, by the way.
Yeah.
So is my turtleneck.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn it.
I just wanted to put over the turtleneck really quickly. I know we're running on a bit of a schedule, Michael, but turtlenecks are back. They're back. Let's go.
Beautiful. To come in the show today, we're going to be talking about Double or Nothing, the best bits from Raw and SmackDown, and TakeOver 25, as well as a bit of World Series wrestling too, because a few more matches have been announced for Melbourne and Sydney. But it was a kickstart with, by the way, this is my news, by the way, the breaking news that Jon Moxley, the reason why he left WWE was the segment where he had a needle put in his ass.
Yeah.
That was his final straw with WWE. He just dropped that on the Talk is Jericho podcast not too long ago, which has just been released a few hours ago too.
And that wasn't much long after he re-debuted, wasn't he? When he came back with the new shaved head gimmick, he was a bit bigger.
Yep.
Right, and then it was like maybe a couple of weeks after he turned heel. It was like that point where
and then it was
they did that.
It was a funny heel turn too, because they thought, oh yeah, beautiful, Ambrose dirty deedsing Seth Rollins on the floor. We're going to see a more sadistic, lunatic Dean Ambrose.
And I think that's where he wanted to go with it too, obviously.
But they
right?
said, no, we're not. We're going to
unfortunately.
We're going to put you in some comical, we're going to make you a comical heel, because why not? And Ambrose is like,
that's how you get a guy to leave a company.
fuck that shit, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I'm not renewing my contract. It expires in April. I'm not coming back. Screw you guys.
Look, guys, all I'm saying is, I know I've said it throughout the week, but I don't know. It could still be a work.
It's not a work.
Could still be a work, boys.
It's not a work. It's not a work at all. He's there. He's with the company now. He signed his multi-year deal.
Jon Moxley is.
Yeah, Jon Moxley.
Yep.
Dean Ambrose could still be within the company. We don't
shut
know.
up. He's not coming back.
Jon Moxley is also fighting in New Japan in a few weeks too against Juice Robertson.
I was watching those promos.
They're good promos.
At the start of New Japan, it was like at the start of Best of Super Juniors, and it was like, yeah, who the hell is it? I was like racking my brain, just being like, who could this actually be? Never once crossed my mind that it could be Jon Moxley.
And then Mox came up, and you're like, oh my god.
I like that because they had that little like weird symbol that he kept carving into the table in all those promos.
New symbol too.
And because it was the wrong way, I never really because it was very similar to the old Switchblade promos before Jay White came back.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm like racking my brain on the indies, like who could possibly be someone who like knives or like just that kind of like vibe would suit New Japan. It would suit those promos.
Do you know? I'm going to tell you something funny. Actually, what Jericho said to Moxley too was, "You still owe me $15,000 for that jacket." He actually said that to him at AEW.
I love the continuity that both these men continue to uphold.
Yeah,
right.
It's
like
good.
that's the brilliance between them.
I am kind of glad they seem to resist the urge to just chuck them back into a feud. I think Moxley and Omega is something that we never knew we wanted until we saw it, and now we're just like, I need to see this match.
We need to see this match
because it's just, like it's something you would never really think of. Like all the when Omega was potentially coming to WWE, all the matchups in your head, you're like, oh, I could face Seth and he could face Finn and AJ. We'd finally have that match, and that Dean Ambrose was not in that conversation.
No, it wasn't, because everyone knew Ambrose was leaving the company.
Well, no, but this is like before we even knew he was leaving. It was more like, who are the potential really good matchups for Kenny coming into WWE? Dean Ambrose is not on that list. But now, like, you switch it around and have Kenny at his new established company and Ambrose coming in, Moxley coming in, and all of a sudden you have that after the match beatdown, and it's like, I really, really want to see this match now. It's going to be...
Can you actually tell this podcast Dean Ambrose is dead, long live Jon Moxley?
No.
Damn it. I will say this, though. I'm pretty happy for the fact that AEW decided to give Hangman Page the win in the Battle Royale, since Park decided to walk out of that
creative
match.
Differences.
Yep, creative
I would have
differences.
loved to have known who they would have initially had then to win that match, because wasn't that match always scheduled to be winner goes into fight for the AEW title.
Yeah.
We're not calling it the world title, by the way.
I don't know.
Because you have to defend it in at least 3 continents.
I think maybe MJF was supposed to.
Yeah, I got the feeling
Yeah.
MJF was meant to get that rub.
That to me is like where they were going with that.
Yeah. Either him or I think I've also read as well. Apparently, Joey Janela was also in that conversation as well.
Yeah. Well, he's fighting Mox at Fighter Fest.
Yeah.
Which is their little
few weeks,
little mini pay-per-view before they do
Fight for the Fallen.
Yeah, Fight for the Fallen. So I love. Did you see the promo?
Yeah.
The little bit they did. So it's Moxley back at house or in the change rooms. Janela comes in, lights up a cigarette, just like sort of nods at Moxley, just being like, "Yeah, that was pretty sick." Mox comes over, just grabs a cigarette out, has a puff, blows the smoke back in Janela's face, and just flicks the cigarette and walks off. And like that's all they've done to set up the match. I'm like,
that's cool.
Fucking yeah, he stole his cigarette. They're expensive.
Yeah.
I would fight someone over that too. So
if Yang stole your cigarette, you'd fight him over it.
Fucking right, I would.
There you go.
Yeah. They cost a lot of money.
There you go.
I mean, probably not in the States, but here they do. Anyway, what else we got news?
Some of the notables from that Battle Royal too, if you just missed it, Billy Gunn, Sean Spears, Ty Dillinger, Brian Pillman Jr., MJF, and Luchasaurus, who I love Luchasaurus. I've gone over the fact that, a dinosaur gimmick. I'm like, I dig that.
It's luchadors, man. They have these ridiculous gimmicks, and it works. Like, you got Dr. Wagner Jr., who's a crazy clown over in AAA. Like, it's mental.
Kip Sabian defeated Sammy Guevara, which was really good match too as well. And then the first match of the actual pay-per-view itself, SCU and Strong Hearts. We've talked about this guy a lot on the podcast when World Series came to town a few months ago, but Christopher Daniels, for 48 years old, can still fucking go.
Can't believe he's 48. He doesn't look it. He doesn't look a day over 35.
And like when you think about it, the dude has been around.
He's been around for
genuinely
ages. He's been around since the 90s.
Fucking long.
He was supposed to be the high power in WWE at one point in time. That's the one. That's the scary thing. He was supposed to be WWE's higher power.
Has he ever worked with the Fed? Like at all?
He worked a few matches for Jacked and Metal back in the early 2000s.
Okay.
He was part of a developmental deal, but they didn't sign him to a long-term deal.
If he never showed up on WWE at all, he'll be one of those guys just like did his entire career without that exposure.
And I actually spoke to Daniels as well at World Series Wrestling, and he actually said that WWE never faced him in the only because for him he wanted that free reign over the Fallen Angel gimmick. Yeah. And he felt like WWE would have definitely watered down his gimmick quite a lot. So that's why he said he never thought of going to WWE. He said, if WWE put a contract in front of me, I'd turn it down just for the fact I want creative freedom over my gimmick. It's been my gimmick for over 20 years, and that's what I want to stick with. And this is the gimmick I'm going to keep going until I hang up the boots eventually. Yeah. So that's what he told me at World Series a few months back.
No, fair.
And Kazarian, he's been wrestling for about 20 years as well.
But you forget about Kazarian as well in that, because Kazarian's been around just, if not as long.
It's funny though, because Alex Chavez said on the coverage as well of Double or Nothing that if you look at Kazarian, him with the bald head, he looks like the Benjamin Button of pro wrestling because he doesn't age at all. He ages a lot younger. He looks a lot younger when he doesn't have hair in. I think JR loved the fact that he's like, this is the first time in history I've ever heard a Benjamin Button reference in a pro wrestling coverage.
It's not a bad reference.
No.
Yeah, no, it was a good way to kick off the match. Always I think they kicked off All In as well. The two Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian. Yep. That was a good match, and yeah, they're a solid trio to have because you can run them as singles, you can run them as two in a tag team. They're very much like the New Day. You can run them in sort of any combination. It's going to be a good match.
Yeah. Plus, Daniels and Kazarian have been teaming in 5 or 6 different promotions for over a decade now. So they work in tandem together as well, really well. And Scorpio Sky just sort of just
he's quickly becoming my favorite of the three.
Yes.
I really enjoy Scorpio Sky. He's just got this real cool energy about him.
His personality lights up too.
Yeah, I love watching him wrestle. I love watching him do promos. Like he's one of those. He's so much fun to watch. So
this is the worst town I've ever been in. I love that.
I love him.
Britt Baker defeated Smiley, Kylie Ray, Nyla Rose, and Awesome Kong making her debut into AEW as well, which I thought was very interesting.
That was out of left field.
Apparently, rumours are that the winner of this match in future will actually take on Brandy Rhodes at a future AEW event.
Yeah, that would make sense. And it would make sense for Brandy Rhodes to put him over if they're going to do a women's belt, which I assume we're going to have a women's belt.
I love Britt Baker, though. Britt Baker.
I was just about to say, Britt Baker is low-key a star.
She is what I feel they're going to build the women's division around initially. Like, she's going to be their their go-to, at least for like the first couple of years. She's always going to be involved in the scene until they get like a larger women's roster, maybe until Sasha Banks shows up. God, that's got to happen.
Eventually,
it's almost a foregone conclusion.
She was tweeting constantly about the women's match.
Yeah.
And we've all heard Vince ain't happy with anyone that tweeted.
Apparently, the Iconics were supposed to be on SmackDown this week as punishment. They got left off SmackDown this week because of Peyton Royce's
which is unfair because a lot of
it's her fucking boyfriend. Like that, I don't get. Also, it's just backtrack a little bit.
Big E tweeted too.
Yeah,
like,
I loved his just redacted. Yeah, mate,
Yep.
that was good. But like, Sean Spears looking buff as fuck.
He is.
Look, big boy. Put on a few kilos.
He's got to be gassing.
He still hasn't signed officially yet.
Yeah,
either.
no. I don't, but
It's going to happen though.
I don't think he does.
He's one of those ones that probably could like just. He's probably going to do indies for another year. He's probably got a lot of like little bucket list things he wants to tick off. He'll still probably work with AEW here and there, just on like a match by match sort of basis. And then once he's sort of ticked off a few bucket list things, I think he wants to go back to England and wrestle there a bit because I think he used to wrestle there back before he was with WWE.
Yeah, and plus and we know how close him and Cody are too. So Cody would basically Cody's turned around and said to him, "Mate, whenever you want to come and wrestle for us, let me know. I'll put you on a card."
It's going to be a case of like he's going to go off and do what he wants to do. Once he's sort of ticked off a bunch of that, he'll probably sign with AEW at some point.
Yep.
Because he's 38.
Yeah,
he's old. Like he's
What?
Yeah.
He's an old man, Sean
Dude,
Spears.
he has been around because he was back in the old OVW, then he was with FCW, then he's with NXT. Like, he's been in the developmental system for a long time.
He was there for about a decade or so, a good decade.
Yeah, because if you go back to 2006, he was in the backstage segment where...
DX and Cesaro.
Yeah, it was Shawn Michaels was like, I'm not controversial. Who are you? Stan. Boom. Just...
Was that him?
That was... If you look, that is Ty Dillinger / Sean Spears.
Oh my god! I didn't know. Fuck?
I just kicked Stan. That is... Go back and look. It is fucking...
That is one of the best segments in Raw. Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, so...
Also, the one thing I liked, though, was when he came out as well, he continues with the perfect 10 as well, and the fans went bloody nuts.
Yeah, he can own that gimmick wherever he goes, so it really doesn't matter.
The best friends, Trent Barretto and Chucky Taylor. I love the tag team best friends. They're working so well together. Defeated Angelico and Jack Evans.
That was a good match. Solid match.
Very good match too.
Yeah.
You nailed the pronunciation too.
Thank you.
Pronunciation.
Angelico.
Pronunciation.
I forgot how he did the. I think he's the Triple R or the Triple R. He's like had Justin Roberts pronounce the Triple A.
Oh, the Triple A, the tag team titles.
Yeah,
Triple R,
yeah.
whatever, however he did. But yeah,
he rolled it off the tongue too.
I was like, "Damn, son, you're doing a good job."
Well, he actually, because Justin Roberts actually did a few ring announcing stuff for Triple A. I think a few years back.
It makes sense.
After he left WWE, I think he did some stuff in Mexico.
Yeah, he was really good the whole night.
He's an excellent announcer.
I just love, like, I think I've said this when they did All In. Just hearing him announce Kenny Omega is kind of like this weird, like, the guy that does the really good John Cena intro is now introducing the guy,
the cleaner,
the biggest guy outside of WWE. It was a real weird moment, and then like all his announcing and stuff for Double or Nothing was just top notch. He's so good. How'd the company let him go?
I know.
I don't get it. I do not get why they would let him go.
Like, Justin Roberts is my favourite ring announcer, and I sort of pride myself off him a little bit. A bit of his mannerisms as well, which I like a bit about him too.
He's just, he did such a good job. Anyway.
He's definitely like top 5 all time in my opinion.
Yeah, well,
ring announcers alone.
Alongside Lillian Garcia, Tony Chimmel. Greg Hamilton is one of my favourites at the moment.
He's good.
Oh, currently are we talking?
All time.
No, all time I'm talking.
Yeah,
dude.
Tony Chimmel's in my top,
like
top
Garcia, 4. I agree. Garcia's up there.
Howard Finkel.
Yeah, Finkel.
The Fink, dude.
Finkel is, yeah.
Yeah, and then Justin Robbins would round it out for me. Like,
that's the top 5 right there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hikaru Shida, Riho Abe, and Mayo Mizuyami defeat Aya Kong, Yuka Sakazaki, and Emi Sakura.
Hey, not too bad. Not too bad in the pronunciation.
Pretty solid 6 women take match.
Solid match, yeah. Like, I think a lot of people aren't familiar with... I think a lot of these women are from Stardom, which is the Japanese women-only promotion. Good match, solid stuff. Like, just the crispness of some of the in-ring work was unreal.
Also, apparently, there's rumours as well that Ring of Honor and New Japan might cease their working relationship because apparently New Japan want to work with AEW in future.
It does start to feel like that. I know that when...
And that's the concern with Ring of Honor is that they're going to lose, their top-tier Japanese...
Yeah. I think it was though when asked about the Jon Moxley situation with him wrestling for both.
Yeah.
The company line at the moment is there is no plans for any partnership between AEW and New Japan at the moment. But you got to think under the table, like just informal talks. It's got to have been discussed at some point.
Yeah.
Like
also
it's
because of the elites.
Well, yeah, I mean,
allegiance to New Japan for so many years too.
Yeah, there's too much history there for them not to have that discussion.
Plus,
of like
in future, you'll see Wrestle Kingdom. It'll be AEW versus New Japan in a few years' time at Wrestle Kingdom.
I wonder if they've put that extra because Wrestle Kingdom next year is 2 days.
Oh my God, it is too.
Yeah, it's January 4th and 5th. So maybe they're making some room on the card for some cross promotion matches.
I would like that a lot.
That would be maybe like I would love it if they found a way where if you really want to compete with WWE, Ring of Honor, AEW, New Japan,
yep,
all just put your egos aside, put all of that in the past, like any sort of contract disputes or whatever. When it came to like the Ring of Honor guys bailing and going to AEW, same with New Japan, the Bucks not renewing their contracts and that. Just put the egos away. Understand that you guys are kind of like the three big pillars of the international indie scene outside of WWE. And if you work together with the talent you have on those three rosters, the match types, the matchups between different promotions could be something that people would tune into, pay for, and that is how you put a chink in WWE's armor.
Yep.
It's not one promotion tries to be the biggest and scalp everyone from everyone else. It's work cooperatively, like I said, put the egos aside and put on just the best shows you possibly can. And that is how you're going to actually start to take some of the market share away from WWE, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
So I think like it would be weird to me that like at some point Cody or the Bucks or even Tony Khan had gone and talked to the guy running New Japan. I can't remember his name right now. And at least like just talked about it, whether it's informal or not, but just that it's out there. And someone at some point, is going to actually reach out to the other and be like, "Look, I think we need to make this official. I think we need to, do this." So, I don't know, but we'll just see what happens in the next sort of 6 months.
Cody and Dustin was a great match. The
Now
promo before that promo video, that hype video before they both came out, that was I had goosebumps watching that because you just watch just that promo video of just their lives together and just what it meant to them as well, going out there as well. What do we think of Cody destroying the throne with the sledgehammer? Was that a big fuck you to Triple H, or is there a bit more context to it?
He's come out and said it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was more just like the WWE system that he was kind of rallying against. It wasn't necessarily Triple H, but that is a very recognizable, like next to just having the throne with the WWE logo on the back and destroying that, I feel like that was about the best they could do and have it sort of be instantly recognizable because he's done that for so long. Like Triple H has used that imagery for so long. So
yeah.
I get it. It was kind of cheesy and not entirely necessary.
It's a cheap pop.
Yeah.
Very, very cheap pop.
Yeah. But the match itself was fantastic.
Yeah. Match itself.
This is just another nod to the fact that, when you put two brothers in a ring, like, it is undeniable chemistry.
Brett and Owen Hart, for example, they had
Matt
a fantastic match at Mania 10. Matt and Jeff as well. But for the fact that for someone like Dustin, who's 50 years old and can still move like that, shows just how much I think he's still got another year or two left in the tank.
Still has the crispest power slam in the business.
Yeah,
him and
God,
Randy.
he really fucking does, doesn't he?
Him and Randy. It's like it's neck and neck, but it's such a crisp fucking move. I love this match. The blood.
I can't fault it. I know what you're about to say with the blood and the crimson mask.
It got a little bit much for me. Like I can't understand why WWE doesn't want this imagery on their television anymore. And I think they had a press junket afterwards, and Tony Khan and Cody were both like, "Look, that's something we'll probably only break out for pay-per-view."
Yeah, which is smart.
I don't know
which is completely fair. Right?
I don't know what TNT's like practices are when it comes to like language, blood, middle fingers, that sort of stuff. I think they said like middle fingers might be something that pops up on TV from time to time. They're not going to saturate the product with it, which is good. Like just that kind of like the one knock on the Attitude Era was just like, it was very much like, okay, we can do this stuff. Sweet, let's do it. But they did it a lot.
Yep.
And it kind of lost its its impact.
Well, I think with AEW, it will be slated for, I think, a TV 14 rating, but it won't be over the top.
So they can
like
say
the Attitude
arse.
Yeah.
They can say, bitch and shit. And won't
They do have more leeway than what WWE does in terms of maturity of their audience.
I'm okay with that.
Which is fine. And if that's what they're getting at when they talk this whole big game of no, we're providing a different product.
Yeah.
And if that's what they're getting at, then fair enough. Like that's perfect.
Yeah.
Right? Whether that market share is bigger or will be.
Well, I mean,
WWE.
how many like people do you know that were wrestling fans who are like, oh, it was better in the Attitude Era? Like, it's still a thing to this day when we're what, 25 years removed from the Attitude Era, even more, where like everyone just still talks about that era in wrestling where it was like, oh, they would bleed and they'd stick the finger up and they'd say fucking, they'd swear on TV.
And the girls were,
I don't think we're going to get that.
No, we're not.
We're not going to get that, but I think the other aspects of the Attitude Era are going to be something that they're going to work into. But even then, like, the whole story of this match was like Cody killing the last remnant of the Attitude Era.
Yep.
Or like at least that WWE representation of the Attitude Era. That was kind of the story throughout this entire match.
And the one good thing, though, from this match as well is we didn't get Goldust in that match. We got Dustin Rhodes.
The Natural.
We got the Natural in that one.
Natural.
And what I loved, though, was the
great.
emotional promo cut afterwards saying, I don't want a tag team partner, I want my brother, and just tears coming down Cody's eyes and a big hug as well, just to embrace well, because...
Yeah, well, we got, what, the Rhodes brothers versus...
the Young Bucks for
Young
Fight for the
Bucks.
Fallen.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited for that.
Which is really, really high key. No,
Yeah,
I'm very, very much around that.
I'm all about that.
Yeah. The match after Cody and Dustin, though,
speaking of tag team matches.
Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks. Okay, so the Lucha Brothers.
Damn!
I've seen 3 matches this year of the Lucha. No, so I've seen 4 matches this year of the Lucha Brothers, and they're potentially in the Match of the Year candidates for our end of year awards. Four of their matches already. So the 2 matches they had with LAX in Impact in their 2 pay-per-views, and the 2 matches against the Young Bucks, Match of the Years, in my opinion.
I fucking love this match. It was so good.
And I'm excited because in a few weeks we're going to see the Lucha Brothers live and in living colour as well.
Yes, we are.
Ray Phoenix and Pentagon Jr.
Give me all the Pentagon Jr. you've got. He's so good. But then again, like, Ray Phoenix was the MVP of this match.
Yeah.
The stuff that guy can do on ropes and just have it look like he's on solid ground. Like, I think everyone's like pointing to that spot where he's got the wrist control, goes up to the top rope, super kicks one in the head that's already on the rope.
How nuts is that?
And then fucking jumps down to the second rope, uses that momentum onto the top rope, up, head scissors, and then like...
How do you do that?
How do you even conceive that in your brain, let alone then pull it off as perfectly as he did? Like, that is just insane athleticism. Just nuts.
You just got so marky just then.
I did, but like
You're so marky.
like there is like those 2 matches, having them back to back, like the Cody Rhodes one and then that one. Also, did you pop the fact that they actually said Cody Rhodes?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Cody, don't call him Rhodes.
Yeah, well, now he's back to being Cody Rhodes. It was like these are the 2 types of wrestling we're probably going to get within AEW. You got the real story heavy, old school 70s, 80s territory days matches where it's just the story is really, really told throughout the ring, and then you've got like the modern day 2010 onwards sort of like flippy but like insanely technical, while still telling a story. Because like I like the initial story in this match where like they really put over the fact that the Bucks have only been in 2 matches this entire year.
Yep.
They were finding it a bit hard to get in sync with each other. A lot of times Nick would hit Matt instead of hitting his opponent, but eventually they got it together, and you could see them getting better with their double team moves as the match went on. So that was a cool story to play up.
I think what we need to do for the Lucha Brothers matches especially is we've got to sit down, us 3 together, and watch the 4 matches I think that they should be in the Match of the Year contenders for.
Yeah.
I think we should watch all 4 of them
because...
I
refuse to
I don't know, man.
I refuse to watch Impact, but...
Too early to call, but Cody and Dustin match.
Cody and Dustin match has got to be up there as well.
Yeah.
It just obviously from a match perspective, it was crisp as fuck. You're right with the crimson masking, but I think that added to the story. But it
was more just the close-ups of like it literally dripping off his head and pulling under him when he was like on the ground, like that. I just had flashbacks to Randy Orton getting beat down by Brock Lesnar, and I didn't like that.
And also Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
When I said that
wasn't
as much blood. That was like
it wasn't much blood, but it was the visceral aspect of Stone Cold.
Yeah,
and the imagery, the imagery
right?
of Dustin Rhodes, very reminiscent of Austin at Mania against Bret Hart.
Yeah, they used that a bit. It honestly could have been the red face paint, adding to the look of.
Oh, but
Yeah. So at least, yeah,
But I just think it was a lot of. I think when he bladed too deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it was too much blood.
this is just one of the best emotionally told stories I think I've seen performed in wrestling.
Definitely.
Like that's like it was so pure from bell to bell.
Yeah.
And then you add in that promo package, and that's like when it comes to assessing this kind of match of the year, right? Like obviously we have very technical matches, stuff like the Lucha Bros will put on where they're spectacles, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But then it's something like this where it's beyond just moves, right? It's beyond that. It's the story that they've told outside the ring as well. And if you didn't have the 15 years and 20, and then the career that Dustin / Goldust has had prior with WWE being told there as well, right? It's kind of like indirectly, right? And then it all coming to head, and then Cody going over as well, right? To end that aspect of the story and moving forward to now them being Rhodes brothers. The story alone. Is match of the year. It
is. It has to
fucking
be
good.
Well, I mean,
It's going to be hard to beat that.
And that is the only praise I will give AEW. The only praise.
Come on, man. End of the night.
End of the night.
But before we get to that, what do we think of Bret Hart showing the AEW Championship?
That was a big surprise.
Yeah, big surprise that it was Bret fucking Hart because not too long ago he was literally just on WWE television.
Yeah. That was like he.
And then Bret
someone didn't tell him to just hold the belt to the fucking A cam because he kept moving around and they kept having get the roving cams try to get a cat. Like no one got a good look at the belt on the broadcast. They had to show it off kind of afterwards.
And then Bret Hart also putting the company over as well.
Yeah. It's a good looking belt. It's a good looking belt.
It's a gorgeous belt.
Ooh.
It's very New Japan.
It is very IWGP.
Very, very IWGP heavyweight belt. Yeah.
But I mean, look, that's where a lot of these guys come from. It's where they draw a lot of their inspiration. So I think it makes sense. And it's got. You got to have something really bombastic for a company like this. You got to be like, okay, this is our belt. It's fucking massive. I was watching the Being the Elite following this, and they sort of unveiled the belt on the show as well, with the guy who made it, and they were talking to him how long did it take? He's like, gem work alone, so just placing the gems was 45 hours, and that's not crowding making the plates, making the leather,
wow.
just the gem work was 45 hours. So I'm like, that is insane, but
they've worked so hard.
It looks real good.
I'm looking forward to seeing that belt.
Looks real good
when Hangman Page versus Chris Jericho go for it. I love the
interesting
matchup. Spoiler on who won the final
interesting
matchup.
matchup.
The evolution of Jericho as well as the entrance.
That was cool. I did pop for that.
The list
and then
the live jacket.
The light up jacket, yeah. This match was pretty solid. I think I prefer their Dominion match more. Oh, sorry, no, their Wrestle Kingdom match more.
Yeah,
but this was still pretty good. I
thought the ending was just abrupt, but I like to see move though the Judas forearm.
It reminds me of the fucking Cena 6 mover doom.
Yeah,
too much. I'm not a big fan of it. I know he's been putting a lot of MMA training in his on his Instagram and stuff lately. Jericho trying to put over the fact that he's doing a bit of legit fight training, which that's fine. Good on you. You don't need to bring it into the Code Breaker is still one of I think the best finishes going around.
Yep.
And then on top of that, the Walls of Jericho is iconic.
And the Walls of Jericho.
Yeah, so why would
and
you
then
not think of that?
I love the fact that I think someone said this on Twitter when I was watching live. The fact that Jericho can just how good he is and how long he's been in the company. The fact when he transfers from the Walls of Jericho into the Lion Tamer, where all he does is put a knee further down on the neck, the crowd went nuts. And it's such a small differentiation between the Walls of Jericho and the Lion Tamer, but the crowd was just that into it, and they know who Jericho is and his entire history. And I think that was cool. He put out a few of his old school moves, and they had the old school Jericho at the start. He was sort of setting up the crowd for I'm gonna bust out some old school shit tonight, and he did, and it was great. Abrupt finish, yeah. Yeah,
I was gonna say the one thing I like though is Jericho could still hit a perfectly springboard drop kick to the outside.
Yep, he's still crisper than most, not as crisp as he used to be, but he's still got his base moveset is still really, really solid.
Yeah, he can still go very strong.
Yeah, it was a solid match. I really it was a big. It felt big. It felt like a main event.
Yeah.
When you got Kenny there, it's always going to feel like a main event with AEW at the moment, and Jericho as well, obviously.
And then Jericho's little promo at the end.
Yeah, thank me.
Thank me.
Thank me.
Thank me.
Which I love.
Thank me.
They're setting him up as the big monster heel.
I love it.
Him and MJF are really going to be the big cornerstone heels going forward. And then
Moxley turns up.
And John Moxley. I like the fact that they kind of didn't hide it. Because WWE they do a really good job, but by the time that the wrestler gets to the ring, we kind of know what's happening. Like when it was Brooklyn 2 years ago when Adam Cole debuted.
Yep.
You got Drew McIntyre in the ring, then you've got Red Dragon or, the start of Undisputed Era rock up to distract him, and then you just hear off to one side the crowd starting to go nuts, and you're like, okay, Adam Cole's currently running through the crowd. Whereas this, where they popped up the camera to Moxley coming through the crowd towards the barricade, I was kind of like, I like that aspect because it didn't...
It's a small detail that if WWE were to do it, it'd change a lot of things.
Yeah,
right?
because
you sit back and ask yourself, well, why don't you do that then?
Like when you hear a crowd go nuts and you're like, okay, someone's coming, something's going to happen, and usually you're like, we got a good idea of who it's going to be.
I'm glad they made it like the Shield entrance for Ambrose as well, or Moxley as well.
It's a little bit Shield entrance.
Yeah, it's like,
true.
and it's just him, no BS sort of thing, and then
Yeah.
the little altercation sort of thing, dirty deeds on Jericho,
Dirty Deeds on the ref.
and then him and Kenny with a little
They're
bit
gonna change that name, aren't they? Dirty Deeds.
Dirty Deeds?
Yeah.
It has to be. That.
Yeah,
Bit of a gimmick infringement.
Well, I just got any pictures for that? New name?
I'd like to see him debut a new move.
A new move?
A new move, yeah.
I would. I'd be happy with a new
Was
move.
he running the DDT as John Moxley back
Yeah.
in the Indies?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So
because
maybe
it's a reference
Yes, it's a hook-
to Foley.
Oh, yeah.
Because
that's
Foley
true,
did
yeah.
the double underhook DDT as his finisher all the time.
maybe like a Mox drive or something like that.
Mox drive. Yeah. Think of something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We'll come back to that.
The Dean DT.
The DDT.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Wow.
I hate that. I love it.
Yeah, I thought so.
4 matches been announced for AEW Fighter Fest as well as we conclude this one. Michael Nakazawa versus Jabelli, Cody Rhodes versus Darby Allin, and the 6-man tag match alongside John Moxley versus Joey Janela, the Elite versus Park and the Lucha Brothers.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
That's a very
Wait,
It's good to see that
Wait,
Park is still there.
is Pac actually going to show up?
Oh, that's the $1 million question.
Because is he done? Is he done, or is he like just?
I
You
think
reckon this will work?
it was a one-off match. I think it was just. I think him and the Hangman Page physically couldn't put a match together or couldn't do a finish together.
Because
What are you reading?
Park hasn't lost
No.
since he came back, or since he won the Dragon Gate title. He hasn't lost.
And I think what.
And nor should he.
Well, no, because he thinks that the title should be protected, and that is a fair point. So the match they had at some European promotion,
I think they wanted Page to win at Double or
well,
Nothing.
yeah, of course they,
Yeah.
yeah. So they had a match to make up for it at, I can't remember what promotion was in the UK in like the week leading up to All In after the match fell apart. So there is, and I think it's on the Elite, not the Elite, the AEW YouTube channel. It is Park v Hangman.
Yep.
Ends in a DQ finish, so it protects Park. But I think obviously they wanted a definitive finish at Double or Nothing, just so we know who is going to be the number one contender for the belt. So I get it from that aspect, but Park, man, just this isn't Dragon Gate. You can put another guy over once. Like I get why you don't want to lose, and that's fair. And it's probably building a big story to him outside of AEW. But maybe just put another guy over. Is it that hard? Is it that hard?
Just play nice, play nice.
Yeah.
Play a bit nice.
I get it. Like, I get the where Park is coming from there.
No, I do.
Because-
I do as well. But
Well, there are other ways to establish Hangman, and I do like that AEW is establishing Hangman as a star.
it would be so easy just to go Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny doesn't need it. Cody
No.
doesn't need it.
Nope.
Young Bucks have obviously got their own established name. When I've always looked at the Elite, it was either Marty or Hangman that I've gone, all right, you're obviously kind of the B tier guys. Marty could always reestablish, right? And the villain gimmick is excellent.
Yeah.
But Hangman has always just kind of just hung back a bit.
Yeah.
So I like that they're making Hangman very credible.
Yeah.
He's
But
like
at the same time,
he's like 25.
yeah, and he's a young bloke too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I'm Park, I'm also sitting there going, well, my value could also be bolstered here as well.
No, it could,
right?
yeah,
And if
100%.
I'm AEW, look at Park.
Yeah, I know.
Look at him.
I know.
Right? Like,
Bastard Park is just
very, very easy to also establish him as a star.
yeah.
Right?
Like, imagine him rolling around with the fucking Dragon Gate and AEW titles.
Yeah. But I think we're still looking at lips over Hangman Page versus Chris Jericho for the belt. That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
great
yeah.
match.
It's an interesting matchup.
But who do you give it to? Now,
There's
literally make an argument for either
There is
side.
arguments for both. There is 100%, and you
wrapping it on. Yeah. Oh,
And
no,
you-
we've gone through this.
you brought it up. It's like how big of an impact would that be if Chris Jericho is the first champ? Like the amount of eyes that would have been like, what's AEW? Screw that. And it's like, oh, by the way, Chris Jericho is the fucking champion, and people are going, oh, really? I'm going to go watch that.
Yeah.
That's There is argument, but it's also like
start with Chris Jericho with not a long run.
Yep, I'd
and
sub
then
Jericho.
Have Hangman go over.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in the next pay-per-view.
Because Jericho will bring the casual fan to AEW.
Yeah,
he will.
And but you don't want to run it too long, right? It's the idea of you take the short
Imagine that though. Hang on.
victory of it.
Jericho, first ever. I'm going to call it the new Triple Crown. WWE champ, champion in New Japan, AEW champion. Imagine that.
God,
It's coming.
you're giving
It's coming.
AEW a big rub already.
It's coming.
Well,
it's coming.
look at that fucking title. Tell me in like 5 years that's not going to be one of the most coveted things in professional wrestling.
And they know that too.
Yeah.
And when I first saw that title, I was like, oh, okay, no, it's legit.
They're
Like,
going big. They're going big.
They're not fucking
and
around.
and Jericho would add to Jericho's thing because he was the first undisputed champ. He beat The Rock and Stone Cold in the same night. He went over to New Japan and beat Naito for the IC title, which honestly the IC title right now kind of means more than the WWE title does. Imagine that, the first guy to win belts in all three. I'm going to call them the major promotions now because honestly they sold out.
They did. Look,
11,000. They're going to sell out Fyter Fest. They're going to sell out All Out, Fight for the Fallen, and All Out. I think this was the perfect way to kick off. They've got a fuck ton of momentum behind them now. Like they are rolling.
And Double or Nothing is being regarded as one of the best pay-per-views in a decade.
From start to finish, it was just every match did what it needed to do. You had the Spotty Fest stuff with the Lucha Brothers and the Bucks. You had the really, really deep storytelling stuff with the Rhodes Brothers. You had a very, very typical but still really good main event with two of the bigger names in the company with Jericho and Omega. Like it hit every single beat. And then you go and you do the Japanese women's match where it's like, normally you would not go out and seek a match like this because you don't know where to find it. They bring it to you. They're like, here is something you probably have never seen before, but now you're like, I want to go and find more of this style of wrestling matchup. So they've hit every beat you need to.
And I did listen to a podcast as well. A lot of them said that apparently Money in the Bank 2011 was the best pay-per-view of the decade. Apparently Double or Nothing has surpassed that just.
It's stiff to WrestleMania 31.
Really?
I love that pay-per-view.
Really?
I love it. Mostly because like it had a shit build-up and then just like every match delivered more than I thought it would. Also, the Seth Rollins cash-in.
Yeah, Seth Rollins cash-in.
Seth Rollins cash-in is the most I've marked out in the last decade.
I still can't believe the fact that we were at my place and you were punching my shoulder. You were screaming at the top of your lungs.
Wow.
Going,
It's all I wanted. It's all I wanted.
Wow.
And then when he pins,
Yeah.
he screamed.
We didn't know you then.
No.
No, but what I'm getting at is great segue. Money in the Bank cash-ins. Who is the current Money in the Bank?
I don't know.
Let's move on to WWE people. We are living in the era of the fucking Brock party.
Party!
And let me just say,
Brock Party!
this is gotta be
I'm all about it.
one of the finest gimmicks in wrestling.
I'm all about it.
I could genuinely watch him shuffle for the rest of my life.
Yep.
He is so fluid.
So we haven't talked to you since Brock went.
It's starting to come around, the Brock Party thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael.
Really?
Just enjoy it for what it is.
I'm enjoying it for what it is.
Okay.
I still
He's
think
been there 2 weeks in a row, so fuck you.
I still think WWE is a trash at the moment, a trash product. But there's,
I'm glad that you said at the moment, though.
but
okay?
there's three things holding it together.
I don't think it's that bad.
Brock Party,
I agree with you.
Sami Zayn shooting, and Bray Wyatt's gimmick. That's the only thing that's keeping the WWE together right now, in my opinion.
And just Seth.
Yep.
He's the work rate guy, and he's still killing it every
and
week.
R-Truth with the 24/7 title as well.
Yeah, the 24/7 gimmick is over, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm still not sold on it.
It's very
Apparently, Elias is currently.
No,
R-Truth won it
won it back.
Oh, did he? Okay,
Yeah.
fuck.
Roman
fucking
Reigns
excellent.
speared Elias and R-Truth.
Fair enough.
And it was funny too because it crossed over to 205 Live where
Oh, for real?
Spud actually was running after Truth around the thing because they were asking him about, what about the Cruiserweight title match? And Rockstar Spud's like, hold that thought, I'll come back to you later. And just you see Spud running after R-Truth as well. Which
it's
is the
good
best.
television.
It is.
It's good television.
It's good filler. It's great filler.
Look, if this is like a replacement for those like pointless matches that you have with like Apollo Crews versus No Way Jose or whatever, then I'm okay with it for that aspect.
That's what it is there
because those matches had no purpose.
That's what
they were dumb.
Also, I love the fact as well that on SmackDown today, Matt Hardy was wearing his version 1 shirt. I'm like, I can get behind that. I can get behind V1 returning to WWE TV.
V1 Matt Hardy.
Yep.
I
was an MFer before MFers were cool.
So a lot of people were banging on Twitter about this is the worst Raw they've seen in a while. I get it. There was no wrestling for 53 minutes.
No. And
there wasn't a single wrestling
match. And there
match.
were 6 ad breaks.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I did put a post up saying, like, these are the positives that I found with Raw. Brock having fun. I really needed that. Like, it's something else.
After the year, no, let's say 2 years to be fair. After 2 years we've had of the Brock gimmick before,
Yeah.
this is such a
Brock
not
having-
only just a refreshing change of
It's a
pace,
breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
but Brock having fun, it makes me have fun.
Yeah.
Like, he is
And it-
such a good
and
actor.
It does nothing to detract from the fact that he could just kill you with his bare hands.
Because you still believe it. If anything,
Exactly,
it
because
works
it's-
into the old
it's
adage
still
of
Brock
like,
Lesnar.
you should be most fearful of the person that you know can kill you, and
Yeah.
they're smiling.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if they look like they're going to hurt you, then you already know that they're going to. But Brock, if he looks at you and he's laughing,
Yeah.
you're like, okay,
Yeah.
fuck.
How long till he
What?
snaps and kills me?
Yeah.
And the one thing as well I want from Brock as well when he does wrestle is I want more than just
Suplex.
German suplex, F5, F5.
I like to
F5.
believe
we've-
there's been a really good deal they've brokered with Brock here.
We've
I
gotten
feel like
bits of that, though.
I would love to see Brock do more than just that, though, because
I mean, the Daniel Bryan match, the Finn Balor match, like, we're starting to move away from that. I understand that, like, the WrestleMania match with Seth kind of had to be what it had to be.
Yeah.
But obviously they're building for a rematch of some sort eventually with that. And I would like, obviously, Seth to win clean. That was kind of my thought when Brock won the Money in the Bank, was like, the real story here is not Seth winning against Brock, but it's Seth winning clean.
and Seth's going to win
'Cause he
three
won-
times against Brock.
He won a bit dirty, a couple of low blows, and then three
Was it you
Three stomps.
that said to me that the true story here isn't between Brock and Roman? That we've been missing the point.
No,
it's
it's-
always been
it's Brock and Seth.
It's always been.
It's always been
and Brock.
Seth. Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree. I could not agree more.
It has to, and I think if at some point Brock does win the title back off Seth, which I think he will in the next 6 months, the real story is Seth winning it back at WrestleMania 36, but clean in the middle of the ring. No low
in
blows.
a main event, in
no-
a good goddamn match.
No beatdowns before the match. Like, it has to be a
Pure.
clean wrestling match from bell to bell. Seth wins, and that is the end of this story. The story ends, and I would almost argue that Brock retires at that point.
Yeah.
What do we think of?
It's kind of why I want to go to WrestleMania next year and
What
just
do you
see.
think of Sami Zayn dropping AEW on TV as well?
It's a work.
It's a work.
Pretty
It's a
sure
work.
every podcast and every
Yeah,
news outlet covering wrestling
Let's
has discussed
just
this.
say I think it's a work.
I think it's a work.
I think it's a work as
All
well.
right, cool. We move on.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Bray Wyatt going back to his goofy Mr. Rogers neighborhood.
I am.
I love it.
I'm
love
so
this.
I'm so in on this gimmick.
Yeah.
I want to see some payoff.
And I was just about to say, whilst you love it every single week, when do you finally push
Like,
the button on
does
it,
he wear the
right?
mask in the ring?
Yeah.
Does he wear it to the
What's
ring?
his
Like,
wrestling style? Has
Yeah.
it changed, right? Is he still essentially between the ropes the same guy?
yeah, or
right?
do we have
Or-
some new moves?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Like, we now need to see this enter the next phase.
I would love to
Yeah.
know if he was at like the Performance Center in the last 6 months. Just like
Actually, he was in the last 3 months before they put him back on TV, and that's when he lost 40 to 50 pounds, and he looks a lot leaner than he used to be.
oh yeah, he's trimmed down a shit
and also,
ton.
congratulations, Bray Wyatt's now a dad to JoJo.
Yeah, congrats.
Bray Wyatt daddy, and he's on TV every week looking like Mr. Rogers that wants to fucking rip his skin off. Cool.
It's a baby that will never ever end.
There was a little bit on this week's. There was like that fucking witch puppet.
Oh, Abby.
It's like
Abby,
why
yeah.
are you keeping me here?
Yeah.
And I was like, is Bray Wyatt keeping this undead puppet in the mortal realm? Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Like this show's got like layers and shit. I'm like trying to work out like the
There's so many
mythology.
You see Big E tweet out about it, and he's just like, "No, I want to get a sex scandal between the fucking doll and the
Oh, God.
the fucking
Rambling Rabbit.
Rabbit Rabbit."
The rabbit. Oh god.
Dude, Big E's tweet game has been the most.
Well, he's
consistent
sitting at
fire.
home bored.
He's back now.
Was he on SmackDown this week?
No, but he's backstage.
Yeah, it was
Right.
It was on SmackDown last week, being beaten down.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for him to come back, but obviously that's not going to be for a while. But like, he's got nothing to do but sit at home and tweet.
Yeah.
So,
But like it's
you know.
it's just as good entertainment as watching.
Oh no, 100%.
Like his tweet game is.
Did you see he's
fire.
got the new apron with
Yeah, with fucking Becky's mum on
Becky's
it.
mum
Yeah.
on it, which
I love him.
fucking great moment.
The one thing I also loved as well is I'm loving Dolph Ziggler back on TV as well. It's a shame though because he's been pulled from Oz Comic Con, but Carmella's going to be coming down instead. The reason why they've done that is because Kevin Owens refused to go to Saudi Arabia, so they put Ziggler in there instead.
Makes
And
sense.
they said to Dolph, look, sorry, Dolph, you're going to Saudi Arabia, you're not going to Australia.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
I like it when Ziggler's motivated, and he clearly is motivated.
Been me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but I was live tweeting during Raw, and I was like, man, I like motivated Ziggler. It's the most I've seen him motivated since the Miz feud.
Oh, that was the best feud.
And then someone replied and said, yeah, that was 2016. I'm just like, oh fuck,
Dude, it was.
I know.
That was such a good time for
it. Was. It was such a fucking good feud.
That was when the brand split had
just happened. Yeah. And like I had no idea. I thought it was like last year or something.
And like, Raw and SmackDown had consistently solid storylines at that point in time at the birth of the brand.
Well, I
split
mean that always happens when you do the brand split.
Yeah.
They care.
Yeah,
and now,
I was about to say.
And now we're getting to the point where like no one cares about the brand split anymore because we've got the wild card rule and we have.
And then Ambrose and Styles were working a beast of a main event scene on
Dude,
SmackDown.
SmackDown was so fucking good at that halfway 16 point onwards.
But
like you said, just picking up back what Ricki said, that you can tell they cared back then.
Yeah.
But let it go to show that WWE can just they can click and it'll get to 2016 whenever they want to do it.
Yeah. It feels
I
like
to believe we're waiting until Fox now, which is unfortunate.
They just get so lazy sometimes.
Yeah.
It's lazy storytelling, and that's my beef with WWE at the moment, is that there's not enough care in their storytelling with a lot of the gimmicks as well. Like, they could make a lot of things work.
Yeah.
It's just put a bit of TLC into it. Put a bit of tender loving care.
I think you're right. I think you're right. The couple of things that are working really, really well.
Yeah.
So there's always the light throughout the darkness.
You gotta push. Like even Becky has started to feel a little bit
stagnant.
Yeah, they got to like freshen that up.
But like Sami Zayn coming out every week and whinging and being like, I'm going to shoot sometimes at.
I'm coming around to it.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of CM Punk a bit. Like I think.
Yeah. They're trying to like.
Yeah, they want to make Sami as
push that a little
They
bit.
want to make him as frustrated with the company, I think,
Yeah.
as possible, and then try and get a bit. I think what we're going to get with Sami Zayn after, I'd say probably July's pay-per-view, is we're going to see a bit more of an edgier Sami Zayn, especially with the new network deals coming into fruition too.
Well, sorry, who did he end up signing to? Because the wildcard rules fucked me off.
I think Raw.
So he's on Raw. Okay, right.
He's on Raw. He's away from Kevin Owens.
Yep. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, he is too.
But I would love to see him in a bit more of an edgier. I would love to see him against Seth Rollins for the belt, but like edgy Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins for the belt.
And even the main event this week on Raw was pretty solid, and that was like a 15-minute Raw match. Like, you give those guys 25 minutes on pay-per-view, I'm all about it.
Absolutely.
Like, they're two of the best. Actually, WWE this week put up the Sami Zayn versus Nakamura match from TakeOver Dallas. Yep. God damn it, I miss that Sami Zayn.
I miss that fucking.
I miss that Nakamura as well.
Yeah, I miss that goddamn Nakamura, dude.
It is fucking goddamn, because I'm working on that NXT video.
Oh, yep.
And I can't objectively not put that match at number one.
Speaking of which, NXT 25, we'll go through the matches really, really quickly as well. Gargano versus Cole for the NXT Championship. Is it time to strap it on Cole, or are they going to wait?
It's Gargano's first defense, right?
Or they're going to wait till. Are they going to wait to take over Toronto to do it?
Come on.
I think Cole picks it up. I think he picks it up.
I think Johnny picks it up.
Johnny is one of those guys, and you've brought it up many times. He's a better chaser.
No, you're right. You're right. But you know what? Fuck it. You know what, Ricki? Fuck it. I agree with you.
I know it's his first defense, but remember who has been the best chaser in NXT history?
Yep.
Sami Zayn. One defense, lost it to Kevin Owens. So
it could happen again to JG.
Yeah,
I goddamn agree. And you use my own fucking logic against me.
They teased. I don't know if this was like trying to work us, but they were teasing the Undisputed Era breaking up. They had Roderick Strong and Adam Cole going at each other, which I did not like. Because I'm like, this is the one faction you don't fuck with. Apparently on NXT this week, Roddy is now back in Cole's good graces after beating up someone. I can't remember who it was. I'm like, were they just like working us a little bit just to get us a bit riled up about Undisputed Era? Because like, don't break that up. Don't have Roddy go single. He was single, he was a face, and it didn't work. That's what they put him with Undisputed Era.
Yep.
Don't break him up. So I'm feeling that, like, you know, we could be getting back to
Baszler and Shirai.
Yeah. Baszler retains.
I think Baszler too.
She's a monster.
Lorcan, Birch, Undisputed Era, Street Profits, and Forgotten Sons for the vacant NXT tag titles in the Fatal 4-Way ladder match.
Undisputed Era.
Yep.
I'm feeling all the belts.
Agreed.
I'm feeling all the belts.
Dream and Breeze.
Ooh.
I think Breeze wins this.
It's for the title, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think Breeze walks out.
I think Dream retains.
I think Breeze wins this.
Dream retains. Just.
Riddle and Strong. straight 1-on-1.
Oh, that's right. He bet up Matt Riddle. I feel it's going to be an undisputed era kind of deal, so I think Roddy beats... it'd be for Matt Riddle's first loss, too.
Yep.
I think, in a singles anyway. Yeah.
And then really quickly as well, a bit of local news as well. Jeff Cobb vs. Slex has been announced for night 1 of World Series Wrestling. Jeff Cobb vs. Brody King's been announced for Sydney. APW Roosevelt had almost a sellout at their new venue, the Mechanic Institute in Frankston. We almost sold out the venue, which is really good.
Nice.
We're going to rename it the Adrenaline Arena. Ada Miller won the APW Heavyweight Championship.
Saw that.
And we're going to have the return in a few weeks' time of the Australian sensation Craven returning to the company as well. And we're debuting a new secondary belt in the Gladiator Championship as well. We've got 4 first-round matches.
The Gladiator.
Which will then coincide with a fatal 4-way match, ladder match, I think, at the 2-year anniversary show for the belt. So 4 singles matches and then fatal 4-way things.
Sick.
And that's it.
Anyway. All right, you can follow us over at Straymania at STRAYMANIA. We're out. We've got time constraints this week, so we'll see you all next week. Enjoy the week in wrestling. Enjoy NXT 25. See you next week. Yeet!
This podcast is part of the Heartifact Podcast Network. For more of this and our other podcasts, head to heartifactstudios.com.au.